Ever found yourself in that seat? No window, no recline, stuck beside the bathroom, elbow brushing against the drink cart every time it rolls by? No legroom, no rest, and no idea how you ended up there, even though you booked weeks in advance. Someone else is in a better seat. Shoes off, blanket out, noise-canceling headphones on. Boarding group 1, bag stowed, eyes closed. Comfortable, confident, almost like they planned it that way. They did. There's a system to how seats are assigned, a pattern airlines follow quietly, and unless you understand it, you'll keep getting the leftovers. I've been on over 200 flights across the US, Europe, Africa, Asia. I got it wrong for years. Then I figured it out. There is a method, and if you stay with me, I'll give you the exact strategy I use to get the best spot on the plane, without upgrades, without elite status, and without paying more. Because comfort in the air is no longer random. It's earned. If you've ever boarded a plane thinking you chose a decent seat, only to realize you're stuck in a dead zone, no airflow, no elbow space, your knees pinned to the seat in front, then you're not alone. The system wasn't made for you. It was made to keep you guessing. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's a reason this keeps happening, and once you see how the pieces fit, you'll never board the same way again. If that's ever been you, wedged between two armrest hogs, or watching your carry-on get yanked for gate checking because your group boarded last, then this is where it changes. This isn't about luck, it's about knowing what others don't. And if you're the kind of traveler who doesn't like getting played, stick around. We don't guess, we don't gamble, we outthink the system. Ever think you've booked a decent seat, only to feel the regret within minutes of takeoff? You're not imagining it. The worst seats on a plane aren't always the cheapest. In fact, some of the most uncomfortable spots are marketed as premium, or at least harmless, until it's too late. Let's pull apart the illusion one seat at a time. The last row isn't just inconvenient, it's a setup for hours of discomfort. No recline, right beside the bathroom, constant foot traffic, and on longer flights, the lack of movement starts to compound. It's not just a bad experience, it can trigger real back pain that lingers after landing. If you're stuck with the back section, always aim for the second to last aisle. It's not ideal, but it gives you enough space to shift, stretch, and avoid the brunt of the chaos behind you. Now, let's talk about the exit row. It's dressed up as a premium option. More legroom, extra space, it sounds like a win. But here's what they don't mention. You give up underseat storage. That means you'll be forced to put everything in the overhead bin. Once that's full, you're likely to gate check your bag, an inconvenience that can snowball if you have tight connections or valuable items inside. You're also sitting in one of the coldest parts of the aircraft, right in the airflow path. And yes, you're legally responsible in case of emergency. So no, extra legroom doesn't equal extra comfort. Then there's the bulkhead. No seats in front of you. Sounds clean, open, efficient, but it's deceptive. The tray table is stored in the armrest, making it tighter. The armrests don't lift, which restricts how you shift. Screens are mounted at a distance, awkward for viewing, especially on red-eye flights, and while there's more legroom, there's less flexibility overall. It only works if you pack light, don't mind limited access, and can handle sitting in a fixed position. It's not a trap for everyone, but it's not a shortcut to comfort either. The middle seat isn't just inconvenient, it's engineered discomfort. No escape route to stretch, no dedicated armrests. You're boxed in, left elbow brushing someone's soda, right shoulder in a stranger's book, but it goes deeper. Studies show airflow in the middle seat is weakest, and it's also where recycled air stagnates longer. That means a higher concentration of airborne germs and a greater chance of walking off your flight with more than just jet lag. And here's what most people miss. There's actually one scenario where the middle seat is the smartest choice on the plane, but we'll get to that in a minute. If you've ever landed sick after a flight, sore throat, stuffy head, odd fatigue, now you know why. It wasn't just bad luck. It was the seat, the airflow, the armrest you fought for. We unpack this kind of overlooked truth every week, and next week's insight could save you time, money, and maybe even your sanity. So before you forget, click subscribe. because forgetting this stuff is what keeps people stuck.
Airlines love acronyms, but Wilma? It's more than a cute label. It's a boarding strategy that reshaped how overhead space disappears. Window, middle, aisle. That's the order now. Aisle seat passengers, you're last. That means by the time you get on board, the bins above your row, gone. Taken by the early birds in rows behind you. And here's the kicker. You paid for convenience and ended up gate checking your carry-on. Here's how seasoned travelers beat this game. Book a window or middle seats, board early, then politely swap one's airborne. It's a quiet trick, and it works more often than you'd think. Everyone scrambles for the front row, but the real winners, they sit in rows 6 through 9. It's a narrow-body aircraft secret. Here's why. You're close enough to the exit for a fast departure, far enough from the cockpit to avoid operational chatter, behind the curtain of noise where babies and toddlers often sit. And, a subtle bonus, you're over the plane's center of gravity, which makes for a more stable, less bumpy ride. Avoid rows 10 to 15. That's the chaos zone. Last-minute bookers, group travelers who shout across aisles, and overhead bins stuffed to bursting. Row 7? That's where calm lives. You know that sinking feeling when you board and your seat isn't just bad, it's strategically bad? Yeah, that wasn't random. There's a seat airlines quietly hope you overlook. Not in first class, not by the window, but in wide-body aircraft, the center aisle seat in the middle section. That nothing special spot, it's the golden ticket. Your steps from both aisles. You get faster service, easier bathroom access, and fewer people climbing over you. And here's the part they never advertise. That seat often has the least disturbance during long-haul flights. Want it? Set your alarm. That seat drops into the system exactly 24 hours before takeoff. Miss that window, and you're left with scraps. Airlines know most people check in late. That's by design. But how do you even know which seats are worth grabbing? That brings us to SeatGuru. If you've never used it, start. Airlines won't show you blocked recliners, misaligned windows, broken trays, or limited recline zones, but SeatGuru will. It's the map behind the map. One glance, and you're seeing what frequent flyers already know. Bonus tip, screenshot the seat map after choosing. If the airline swaps planes, that image becomes your proof and your ticket to reclaim a comparable seat. Airlines count on your silence, on your not checking. It's how they quietly turn your discomfort into their profit. That's why we break these stories, so you don't walk into another flight unaware. If just one thing here saved you stress, imagine what you're still missing. Smash subscribe, not just for updates, but because next week, the thing we uncover might be the one that saves your entire trip. Now, let's talk check-in strategy. Think it's just a formality? Think again. That first 60 seconds after the 24-hour window opens, that's prime real estate. That's when the best seats get released back into the system. Every second counts. Save your info ahead of time. Set multiple alarms. And yes, join the airline's loyalty program even if you only fly twice a year. They move loyalty members to the front of the line. It's not about miles, it's about access. And finally, when should you actually pay for a better seat? Short answer, long flights. If you're stuck in one spot for 8 hours or more, a $30 upgrade can be the difference between walking off refreshed or wrecked. Here's the kicker. Upgrade prices often drop in the final 24 hours. The closer to takeoff, the more desperate the airline gets to sell those seats. So wait, watch, and pounce. That's not a travel hack. That's understanding the system better than the people who built it. Most travelers avoid the middle seat at all costs, but there's one exception, and it can quietly turn an ordinary flight into a better one without paying a dime more. If you're flying with a partner, book the window and the aisle in the same row. That middle seat, it's often the last to be taken, and on lightly booked flights, it tends to stay empty. That's more space, more comfort, and no stranger leaning on your shoulder. It's a small tactic that can feel like your first-class win on a coach budget. Even with the child, the strategy works. Just keep the middle open, you stay close, skip the extra fare, and your row becomes your mini cabin. Which of these seat secrets caught you off guard? Which one felt like something you wish you'd known 3 flights ago? Leave a comment. Even one small insight you share could save someone a miserable 6 hours next to a bathroom door. And if you've ever had to fake sleep to avoid a conversation with a stranger while stuck in 29B, hit that like button. We've all been there, and now we don't have to go back. Before booking, scan the seat map through SeatGuru. Think of it as your pre-flight blueprint. Know where the bad rows are, the ones with restricted recline, the missing windows, the broken trays, and center aisle seats on wide-body planes, mobility-friendly, easy access to lavatories, and crew. And if you're on a narrow body, aim for rows 6 through 9 aisle. These offer a sweet spot of quiet, service access, and fast exit. The third month's content. The 24-hour mark before departure is prime territory. Have your info saved, alarm set, and loyalty number ready. Fourth, monitor upgrades. They drop sharply in price the day before. That $50 upgrade might become $9 at the right time. And finally, Wilma, window, middle, aisle boarding. Even if you're assigned Group 8, you can still outsmart the process. Having a Wilma plan means controlling how your bags fit, how you settle in, and how quickly you can start ignoring the announcements. The average passenger lets the system decide for them where they sit, how much they suffer, what they lose in comfort, energy, and time. But you've seen what most people have it, and now you have a toolkit they don't. This channel exists for travelers who think ahead, question the process, and never settle for the default. If that's you, hit subscribe. One click now can mean a better seat, a smarter upgrade, or a smoother trip next time you fly. And if you're planning a trip soon or know someone who is, don't miss our next episode, the senior travel perks even frequent flyers don't know exist.